fireside chat today. We were just talking about, we have book club this week, and we were talking a little bit about Math Happiness Project and math, and some of our friends expressed some feelings towards math.
Which maybe you feel the same way, but maybe not.
Yeah, and some assumptions that both Erin and I have always been math people or loved math. And so we thought maybe we'd share a little bit about our own stories and experiences with math.
Yeah, and I think that one reason too why we want to share this is sometimes when we're talking about Math Happiness Project with other people, they think, oh, I'm not a math person, so they're not really interested in maybe what we're doing and have to say, but actually those are the people we're really trying to help. So if you have someone in your life or you think you're not a math person, please consider sharing some of this stuff, because that's really who we're trying to help, because not everyone views themselves as a math person, but everyone actually is a math person.
True story.
Just so you know. I can start first because I have always loved math. I think, fortunately for me, I could memorize flashcards and facts. So that made learning basic facts like really easy for me. And like I loved doing around the world because I was good at it. But I still had a lot of math anxiety because it was like this pressure to perform. So then I actually started to feel like a little more uncomfortable about math and like having to like live up to this expectation about being able to do it. And then I found like a newfound love of math as I started to figure out, oh, there's more to it than just memorizing. There's like different ways to approach a problem, or someone thought about it this way to solve the problem, but I thought about it this way, and there's different ways we can get to an answer. So I have always really, really loved math. Actually, before I decided to become a teacher, I was a finance major, and I worked very briefly as a financial analyst because I loved math, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do. So I have always loved math. I will say my launch into my love of math was rooted in not the best math practices, but I happened to be someone who could memorize facts, and that is not the case for a lot of people. And I want everyone to feel like they can do math and everyone to have the same love that I have of math because of all of the things it has to offer.
I love that, Erin. That's awesome. My journey with math is a little different. I remember saying the words, I'm not a math person in college. I know. I actually got called out. There was a doc student in one of my classes who was specializing in math education, and he called me out on it and had me read this article. So that was kind of that. But going back before that, I was lucky enough to also be fine at memorizing things, and so did fine in elementary math, but it fell apart a little bit in middle school when I happened to miss some schools, so missed some of the memorizing pieces. It was graphing that I fell on specifically, and I didn't have a very good 7th grade math teacher, and so I really started to lose confidence in math at that point. And we know sometimes that can be part of our identity, and then we're like, oh, I'm not going to really try as hard. So I did fine in math in high school, and then I'm not gonna lie, I got to college and was like, I'm not taking any math. Like that was
actually... I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. I did end up having to take a little bit of math, but not much math. Yeah. I was kind of like, I don't really need to do math. And then as I said, that doc student in my class, and it was probably junior year, he's like, don't say I'm not a math person. That's not acceptable. Yeah. And so I started to kind of reframe my thinking about it a little bit, and then after college and after AmeriCorps, I did my teacher prep program and I had my math class, and it started to shift how I thought about teaching math a little bit, right? And it was obviously not going to go into teaching first graders at that time, saying I'm not a math person. I really tried to get them enthused about math, and they love math. But it wasn't until I was teaching 4th grade, and I had an amazing math specialist in my district, and she came in and just started to open up my eyes to how much there was in math that I was missing before. And it was just this whole new, incredible and fun world. And it really shifted, obviously, how I taught math, but just even how I approach math and how I feel about math. Because now I love doing math, but I think it's because I've shifted so far away from that, like memorization, focus on the answer place, and I can like see and appreciate the beauty in math. And you all might be thinking like, how silly are these girls? They're talking about like beauty and things in math, but the truth is, like, that is real math. I love the analogy that people use sometimes of, like, if we taught art the way that we teach math, it would only be letting kids do, like, coloring by number. Yeah. Because that's kind of what we do to math. Yeah. But there's so much more.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully hearing more about our experiences with math, maybe you can connect with it a little bit more or not, and that's okay, but maybe you can feel like, oh, I don't have to have always thought I'm a math person to eventually become one. So,
and feel free to share a little bit about your own math journey.
Yeah,
in the
we'd love
comments.
to know.
We'd love to hear it.
Thanks.